video, I'm going to be showing you how to propagate common vining house plants. I'm going to be using my Heartleaf Philodendron here as the demonstration plant. I did a post a few days ago on my Instagram page at Felines and Folia, and I was just talking about how to propagate. At the time it was the pothos, but basically most vining plants such as pothos, philodendrons, monsteras, anything that's really kind of like this thicker stalk and it vines, you for the most part can do this same exact thing. So if you have a pothos or something that's a little bit larger. Now I do have ivy that I do have growing as well. That is probably going to be a little bit different, and I can do a video on how to propagate vining plants such as ivies and string of pearls, excuse me. But both of those I am not ready to cut into yet. My ivy is not long enough, and my string of hearts, I just really want to get that thing massive. So that one might be down the road, but we're going to focus on these guys today. So with that being said, this is actually only my second video that I'm doing in regards to plants. Let's start with my name here first. Hi, I'm Priscilla. I am a real estate agent in Minneapolis area. I have been doing a lot of realtor videos, so this is not the first time I've been in front of a camera, but it is the first time that I'm focusing mainly on plants and showing you guys how to take care of them or propagate them. I have done one other video. I was just kind of keeping it secret, or I guess hidden on YouTube until I could really figure out where this Instagram and YouTube phase was going to take me. And so I'm just going to post that one live as well. That one I'm going to be showing what I did when I reorganized my closet, and I'm looking over this way because the closet's here. I do all of my planting, repotting, propagation, everything in my office where I'm sitting right now, and so indoors. So I really needed a organized, functional layout as far as where all my plant stuff goes. So if you want to go take a look at the video, if you're someone who really likes to watch organizing, clutter, it's a fun video. But anyway, so I'm Priscilla. I've got Callie in the box here with me, and then we've got Pockets on the floor, which I think he's just right outside of the screenshot. But if you are following me at Felines and Folia, then you know who these guys are. If this is the first time, Callie and Pockets are cats, hence Felines and Folia. Callie is a 1.5-year-old Torby, and Pockets is 4.5 months. He's a little American short hair. You might see him jump up and down here. I'm hoping that he kind of stays down there because we're working on this, but he likes plants a little too much and he likes to eat them. So we are working on that because obviously the safety of my cat and the safety of my plants are very important to me. So we're working on it, but he's a little bit of a slower learner than Callie. Callie could give a rat's what about plants. So anyway, let's dive into the video and I'll stop talking about myself. So let's go over the supplies that you'll need. There actually aren't many that you're going to need. The biggest thing that you're going to need is sharp scissors, or if you have a knife, making sure that it's sharp, because if you use a dull knife or a dull scissors, you're actually just going to pinch off the stem and then it won't grow as well. So you want to make sure that you have sharp, clean scissors or knives, because if you use this on multiple plants, you might be transferring bacteria. And this actually does need to be cleaned, so I'll cut it out before I leave. But anyway, so this one, I just totally lost my train of thought. That's fine. So again, you're gonna need sharp scissors. This one is a Vivo Sun. It's something I just ordered off of Amazon. So it's been working really well. To clean my scissors, I just use alcohol rub and a cotton swab. For those of you who are wondering, you could use dish soap, hot water, but I just found like the alcohol rub really does the trick. The other things that you're gonna need a propagation jar. So now this is really the fun part for me as far as the decor element goes. It's just so fun to go and find different propagation jars. So I've had a lot of people ask me on where I get mine. Mine are basically all from garage garage sales, antique shops, flea markets, whatever like cool sauce jar I have that I bought, or yeah, so this one I believe was from a garage sale. This one is from a garage sale. These are used the most. This is the jar I use to propagate my pothos. Anything with a longer stem, I'm going to use this one. I just love how simple it looks, and it just kind of fits with what I have going as far as decor in my office here. But obviously you have to make sure that the plant is going to fit. So like this one, I'm waiting for my monstera deliciosa to get a little bit bigger and to actually have some fenestrations so that I can propagate it down the road. So obviously with it having a longer neck, you're going to want to make sure that your stems are going to be able to sit in the water. I do have, again, many different types of propagation jars. This is a prayer plant that I have propagating. This is just a little mason jar, so like a little jam jar. So you really can use anything. I like to use glass because I love to be able to see the roots. I'll show you guys this guy in a little bit, but I'll save that for later because that's the fun part. But anyway, so yeah, there are so many different types of jars you can use, and you really could get creative. I know this one my mom actually found for me at a flea market. This one, it's just really pretty. It kind of reminds me of like a genie in a bottle kind of a thing, but you can get really creative, different colors. I do know that the clear for me has worked really well. I've heard that people can use kind of like the amber glass. Different colors should be fine, but I'll talk to you a little bit about sun and aftercare once we get to that point. Also, water. With propagation, you're gonna need water. I just use the filtered water from my refrigerator. Now granted, is that exactly what I'm supposed to be doing? Probably not, but it's been working just fine. So I'm gonna keep doing that. All right, let's move into the actual cutting of the plant. All right, so let's get rocking on the cutting, but just as a side note, I had to show you guys this. How sweet is that? He crawled up and got in the box with her, and she put her arm around him. So sweet. All right, back to plants. All right, so let's see here. I'm going to just pull this here. This is actually going to be a really good one to use. I'm actually going to use the whole vine here because these are just healthy looking leaves. Now granted, once you actually start propagating and you start getting roots, the leaves that you originally start with aren't going to really matter as much. The prayer plant that I have propagating, actually, that is because Mr. Pockets decided to destroy it, and there's like teeth marks all over it. I'll show you guys in a little bit, but the reason why I decided to propagate it is because the prayer plant has been my most favorite plant as far as care, and it was just so pretty. It bloomed this year, so I had a lot of connection to it, and yeah, so I just wasn't ready to let those leaves go to waste. So now, again, your leaves don't need to be beautiful in order to make a beautiful plant. They will grow. Obviously, these leaves are going to die off anyways. So anyway, let's go into the cutting. So you're going to want to find your nodes. There are some aerial roots that have started with this one. It does look like they're a little bit on the drier side. I hope that you guys can see this. Obviously, I can't see. I'm using an iPhone, so I can't actually see what you guys see. So hopefully this is not too unfocused. Hopefully, I don't know. Anyway, so these aerial roots here are a little bit dried off, so I don't know if they will continue to grow or not, but I'm just still gonna try it because why not? But this is the node of the leaf, or of the stem, excuse me. So this is your node. This is where the stem of your leaf hits the stem of the vine. And this is where you're gonna get your aerial roots where, so like these out in the wild will attach themselves to trees like that, using these aerial roots. And so that's why well, okay, it's propagating itself. Okay, we're gonna start with this. Now, with that being said, this is actually, I'm gonna make a cut here. Get my scissors ready. Again, right at the node here. And I'm gonna go about, I would say, a centimeter down from that. All right. And now with this one, most likely this is gonna end up being where this leaf is going to be submerged. So you can decide. I typically just leave the leaves on there. The leaves, excuse me. That is up to you on what you want to do. Again, I mean, this really, I haven't done a lot of propagation, but the ones that I have done have been, every single one of them has been so successful. But, and I did leave leaves on, and I just put them in the jar like this, and some of them were submerged, some of them weren't. Okay, so that is the end one there. So then we're gonna go to the one, the closest one, and then you'll go about a half a centimeter to a centimeter to the right, or up the vine. So then you've got this looking like that. Now, typically I have a little bit more on the end, and I'll show you in a second, but since that one popped off, that's where you got. This one does have some aerial roots that are growing, and this area here is where your roots are going to end up shooting out once they're propagating. So right here is where you're gonna start seeing your roots. So these are kind of already on a head start. Oh, sorry, Cal. Okay, so then we can go right up next to the node here, about a half a centimeter to the left, half a centimeter to the right. So you can see, hopefully you can see that. Again, you get some kind of drier aerial roots, but I'm not too worried about it. You can actually see there, hopefully you can see, but there's a little bit of a nub here of where the aerial roots, the new aerial roots are going to come out, but so that's most likely where my new roots are going to come from. This is not, you can't really use this for anything, so go ahead and compost that. So now you can see I laid out all of the cuttings that I did. I did end up going back in and taking a little bit more because I do kind of want this plant to be a little bit bigger. So yeah, let's get into putting them into a jar. Obviously this is pretty self-explanatory, so you want to make sure that your jar is clean, making sure that it doesn't have any residue left over from whatever was in it before. I fill mine up basically all the way. And let's actually put that in last. And then you just pop your stems in there, right, making sure that your cuttings are right where you made the cuts and the nodes, making sure those are submerged because that is how they're going to propagate. So you want to make sure that you are monitoring your water. I change the water. This is actually pretty key. I change the water often. I would say every other day, every 2 or 3 days. I try to basically change it whenever I remember to change it. The reason for that is because when water sits still for a while, it loses its oxygen, and so it loses its, what is necessary for the plant to continue to grow. So you want to make sure that you are continuing to put new water in it, and making sure that the water levels are high enough so that your new planties are all submerged. I'm actually going to top it off just a little bit more. Oh. All right, perfect. So this is what the propagation jar looks like. All right, so here is another view of our finished product here. I'm really excited about this because I do think that this is going to be a nice size little baby philodendron. I'm hoping to put this in my kitchen. This is the only plant that I have in my kitchen right now as far as vining. I've got space between the tops of my cabinets and the ceiling where I want to be able to do lots of vining plants. So this one is going to be the original. Hopefully this one we'll get rocking soon here. I will most likely probably stick with philodendrons. I might throw a Brazil in there just for some uniqueness and color, but for the most part, I probably will stick with those. But yeah, so as far as aftercare, where do we go from here? Oh, making a mess. Anyway, so behind me is where all of my propagations happen. You can actually see this is where I have my current propagation. I do have 2 baby philodendrons, or excuse me, pothos behind that, and then 2 pileas. That all 4 of those plants are all propagated. So you can see that this is what they turned out to be. So those used to be cut from a pothos, and now they are rooted in dirt. And then I got my pilea that I just propagated off of the mother plant. Pileas are so quick and so fun to propagate. I just love doing that. So I will do a propagation video down the road for pileas and probably the prayer plant too, but I've got to let that thing get a little bit bigger before I start pulling off more leaves again. But so anyway, back to the sunlight. This is a north-facing window. New cuttings do not like sunlight, so you don't want to make the mistake of putting them in front of a ton of light. So indirect, very little light. I mean, they're getting enough sun just from the nighttime when the sun goes over the edge of the trees here. They do get a little bit, but honestly, they don't need much at all. Direct sunlight will burn your plant babies, so don't do that. Let's see here. Propagation does take a while. The photos that I have on felines and folia, that one is actually taken probably about, I think it was a month apart, but I do know that when I took the original photo of the cuttings, there was actually still roots showing, so I do believe that was probably 2 or 3, probably 2 weeks old already by that point. So it does take a while. Be patient. If you're not seeing roots right away, just be patient, making sure you're changing out that water. I promise you will get roots if you did this correctly. But yeah, so this is, I'll show you guys what happens after. So this one has been propagating for a while. I don't even know how long, to be quite honest. Too long, because as you can see here, it does have quite a bit of root action going on. Let me pull apart here. So yeah, so you can see, come on little guys. So you can see that there are some awesome roots going on here. That again did take a while, and these do need to get potted because they are to a point where they are ready. So yeah, I think that is all in regards to propagation. As far as moving forward from this, I just took, let me grab this pothos again here. So once I had all of the cuttings, I just put them all together. Let's see here. Yes, so I just grabbed all of them like this and put them in the soil. I did use a little bit of sand in this soil because I know with plants, coming from water and going into soil, sometimes it's not the best for them. I shouldn't say the best. It's just hard on them. So you want to make sure that it's draining well enough, but yet they are actually still able to have the water that they need. So I put some sand in this regular potting soil. There is some perlite in there as well. But yeah, it was pretty easy. You just pop them in there, put the soil around it, and I mean, I'm watering it pretty consistently. I don't let it get bone dry, but I do let it somewhat dry out. But just making sure that you're constantly watching it so that your plants don't die off because they have been used to sitting. There we go. It's getting longer in the video. Obviously, my words are not getting out of my mouth the way that I'd like. But anyway, yeah, so they just need to make sure that they acclimate well to the soil, and so you want to make sure that you're watering it up. All right, I think that is all. If you have any other questions, or if there are any specific videos you want to see as far as propagating goes, please feel free to leave a comment below. And if you aren't following Felines and Folia, go ahead and follow me there. I show pictures of the adorable cats, and I just, my take of plants, and yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. And oh yes, subscribe to this channel because I'm looking forward to and hoping that I do a lot more of these videos. If you guys like this, give it a thumbs up just so that I know that I'm doing something right and that, more videos would be helpful for you guys. So yeah, thanks again so much for joining me. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to the next time.